Hey, this week we're gonna see if I can make this Best Action Raph better. Let's do it. So I have this Best Action I recently got. It's Raph. I have Raph, Leo, and Mikey at this point. And I just got Donnie yesterday. He's still in the box. But I like the face with the growling face that Leo had better for Raph. And I figured why not switch the heads if I'm gonna already be taking him apart and seeing what I can do. To get it off more easily, I dipped it in some just boiled water. Well, recently boiled water. And then it's softer and easier to cut with the X-Acto knife. Now I pull them apart as much as I can, and some parts are harder than others. And one was pretty hard, and when I did it, I spilt the water. That's the downside of using water for this. You could also use a heat gun or a hair dryer, but those aren't really convenient for the setup I have here. So now, to make his articulation better, I'm cutting the top off his chest because he's got a chest swivel and a waist swivel, but you can't really use either of them with the way that their shell and chest are attached. So I trimmed up the sides and then I sanded it to get it a little smoother with my nail file. Now I have a bigger nail file. I just roughed up his head a bit, and now I trace out where the mask is. The one thing I find weird about these guys is their head is like a little short. They don't have any forehead. So I add some green stuff, and it's two-part epoxy putty. It's yellow and blue, and when you mix it, it turns green, and when it's green, it's ready to use, and then it dries and it's like plastic. So I did the top of the head, and then I thought he needs some bigger arms and bigger muscles, because these guys look like pre-teen Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's one thing about these Best Action figures. They look pretty young, and they have doughy Disney eyes, which in the cartoon they have that sometimes, but only when they're like really happy and smiling and laughing. On these guys, they just look like preteens, like little kids, maybe like 11 years old. Anyway, after some sanding and stuff, I mixed together my primer coat with some black and white acrylic primer, and then a bunch of green because I wanted to have a green base coat. It's a little thin because I ended up having to put a lot more green than I wanted to, so it's not as much primer in there, but that's okay. If I put two, I just have to put 2 layers, and every layer I put makes the figure a little thicker, and I like that because I think they're a little too skinny. But over time, I've been liking the figures more and more, and I've got to know it better since I took it apart. So I had done a review and unboxing of this guy, but I didn't have time to finish it and finish making him. So then Leo, I added, well, not Leo, on the head I added a little bit of spackling to fill in some of the cracks from where I had the putty. And now after 15 minutes I can sand the spackling. But yeah, I didn't have time to finish editing that review. Now I put a second coat on everything. I tape it up because I'm going to use the same primer for all the turtles because I'm going to do them all. Now I mix together a bunch of greens to try and get the color I want for his skin. I'm trying to kind of match that Raph there from the 80s or 90s toy line. I got kind of close. I don't want to match it perfectly. I also kind of want to match the cartoon, where these guys, they match a lot more of the game. I think like for Shredder's Revenge, which I've been playing a lot of recently, the colors are right on for these Best Action figures. But in the cartoon, they're more like olive and a bit of a darker green. So to get a little more olive, I mixed in some brown, and then want to get the right brush there. And so this is a little bit more olive and a better green. I'm going for this coat, but again, every coat makes them a little thicker, and I want that, so I'm not upset about having to do extra coats. But the next 3 of the turtles will be easier because I've already figured out everything and mixed all the paints. Now for his shell, this time I actually got an olive green, and that was just by mixing some browns with greens. And I have a burnt sienna, which is the color I always use for front shells. Then I did another coat on his back shell. Then I did another coat of the raw sienna. Then, after I turned off the camera, I did a dry brush of the raw sienna on the shell. But I didn't record that because I didn't think of it till after I turned the cameras off. Now I'm covering everything that I painted with a thin clear coat of acrylic matte varnish, and that's just gonna seal everything up. Now this was really hard to get back on. It took me a lot longer than you see there. So now just having the bottom piece separate and attached to there, now he still has the motion of the chest swivel, which he had a pointless chest swivel with the other setup. And to replace his belt, I'm using a suede lace, and I needed it thicker, so I'm gluing two of them together. I just line them up, the smooth sides, and then a little super glue, and then just a little bit at a time. And I want to keep that R, so now I'm cutting it out with my scalpel. Start gluing this on. You know, it's really starting to come together. Came pretty close with the color. I want to match the cartoon instead of the game or whatever they were trying to do. I think they were doing the cartoon. But I really like a lot of things about these Best Action figures. Now I'm just gluing. I left a notch in the bottom string of the belt so that I could put those in without them sticking out anymore, the little flaps. And then I saw when I move his chest up, you can see green through, so I just color that the same raw sienna so that it matches with his chest and all looks good. Now for a last little touch, since I painted everything and he's still got these bright red pads, I thought I should do a black wash to get in all the cracks and details to make it pop out more, and then it'll also make it look a little grimier, dirtier. And let that dry for a while, and then just trying to wipe off anything extra left on the surface, and then a quick clear coat on all the new stuff I put on. And now, while I was looking at him, I thought it would be fun, since the mask comes on and off, I'll paint some eyes on the head without the mask, and then I just let that dry. Use the paper towel to test if it's dry, then I do a quick clear coat over the eyes so that when I do this pen, it doesn't blend in with the white paint. It has something else to sit on, the clear coat. Then I thought I'm gonna get rid of the eye shine that makes them look super Disney, and so I just used the pen to do that, and then a black wash in his teeth, because he doesn't have individual teeth, but he does have a line between the top and the bottom teeth, so I tried to get that with some black wash, and then just getting the deeper details on the shell with the black wash to make the shell pop out more. And that's what he looked like before. Well, that's actually the other Raph head on Mikey's body, and now that's what he looks like now. So do you think he looks better? Does he look more like the cartoon, or does he look more like a real Raph? That's all for today. Until next week, remember, always keep your head up. Peace. Thanks for watching.